Welcome, Leo, to your November 2020 reading. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. If this is the first time you've tuned in, I offer free mini readings for all new subscribers. So just click the subscribe button and ask your question in the comments below. Or if you'd like to keep it out of the public forum, just email me and I'll be happy to answer you in private via email. Now, let's get into your November reading. Now, this month starts out with you really. I can see that you've been really burdened with the amount of work that you have been doing. And this can be work for around your home or stuff like that, but I am feeling that this is career orientated or to do with your job. And it's almost like it's been feeling like a bit of a chore for you lately, and it's been quite exhausting. But when you get the Ten of Wands, which you have, it's kind of saying that you're just working too much, way too much, and you're not leaving any space for fun or play for yourself. And this card often shows up if you're doing multiple jobs, or you're just really spreading yourself quite thin. It can even refer to if you are a single parent, so you're coming home, you're working all day, then you're having to come home and look after the kids and cook dinner and clean the house. And, it's really like you are so intensively involved in your current endeavors that you don't even realize how run down you are actually becoming. And it could even indicate that there could be a few little health problems that are coming up for you that are related to overwork. So it's when you get that Ten of Wands, it actually is possibly a message to try and reduce your workload, or take some time off, or even delegate some tasks to other people when possible, because if you don't, you're going to become unwell. But with all tens, it does kind of talk about that final stage in the before things start to get better. The Ten of Wands is like the culmination of everything of that sign. So a lot of hard work, a lot of creative energy that you've been putting out as well. And it's becoming a little bit burdensome, but the Ten of Wands kind of says this is now as bad as it kind of gets. It's coming to the end. So, but really just take care of yourself in November and make sure that things don't get too overwhelming for you. Now, you got the Knight of Pentacles, and it came out in a reverse position. Now, I go through my cards and I put all my cards in the upright position before I commence any reading. And this is the third sign that this has happened for, and each time it has been a card that can represent someone in your life. So I am going to read you the meaning of this card from the actual book that came with this particular deck. And this particular deck is the Gold Edition Egorov Tarot, and it is quite it's a vintage deck. It's quite old, and so the the meanings are quite brutal, and they're a little bit sexist. They refer to people as man, but these are non-gender specific when I do my reading. So even though it says a man, this can represent a woman in your life as well. But firstly, I'm going to read the card as I normally would in the upright position, and then I will read that reverse position as well for you. Just know that this is a general reading, so if it doesn't resonate with you, just let it go and take what does resonate for you. So normally the Knight of Cups means any knight can represent a person, but it also represents movement. So there can potentially be movement of money coming in and out. I feel like in November you are sitting back and assessing your money, your coins, your where you've got this savings account and that savings account. You're kind of really assessing it all, and it can mean movement, as I said, of money going in and out. Because this is reverse, as I said, I normally wouldn't read it in reverse. This could potentially mean that there is money going out, but that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because you could be spending money on things that you really need or you really want, so that's not quite a huge issue. But the Knight of Pentacles actually does kind of tell you that it is time to start to move along a little bit. You know, you've the planning's completed, and now it's time to take action. So if you've got some things in your life that you're really needing to make a move on and get things going, well, November is an excellent time to be doing that. And also, you know, there is a message with the Knight of Pentacles that the plans that you've made are excellent and will work out really well for you. You're encouraged to maintain your integrity throughout the whole process and follow through on any promises that you have made to anyone as well. It could also, this card can also refer to business travel and financial rewards, as well as your guardian angels as well. And financial rewards, it's right next to the Wheel of Fortune. So for some of you, there could be a nice amount of money coming in for you in November, which is a lovely sign. Now, the Knight of Pentacles, Pentacles represent earth signs. So this can be a Capricorn, a Virgo, or a Taurus. Now, I always say it's more about the character of the person rather than the star sign. So this does represent a really hardworking person and someone who's good with money and good with business and that sort of situation. But as I said, I am going to read from the little book that comes along with this deck, and I'm going to read the reverse meaning. So this can also, in reverse, represent an irresponsible, impatient, shy, and disorderly man. May mean a greedy person. So if you recognize this person in your life, this is describing someone in your life. They could be quite significant for you in November. Now, also, one thing that I've said with the other signs that had a reverse card, this can also, if you don't recognize this person in your life, this can also represent you. So be careful that you aren't taking on a lot of these qualities as well, and you aren't being this person in November. But as I said, that's just a general reading, so that's just a specific message for some. But generally, I am feeling that this card is representing the movement of money in and out in November, potentially a good coming in of money with that Wheel of Fortune card. The Wheel of Fortune, you know, talks about things like luck, and, you know, it's good luck a lot of the time. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune can be that it's a wheel. So often the imagery on the Wheel of Fortune is, you know, you have things at the bottom of the wheel that perhaps aren't so good. then you have things at the top of the wheel that are great, but the wheel moves. And so it's a karmic wheel. So things can change throughout our life, for good and bad. So, but most of the time, this card does talk about good luck, and it also talks about renewed movement. So while there may have been sort of delays, or you've taken a little bit of time to reflect and rest, the Wheel of Fortune kind of talks about being back on the path, and talking about pauses being over, and delays are a thing of the past. So things are quite moving quite well. Now, sometimes with the Wheel of Fortune, as I mentioned there, it can represent opportunities that have become limited if it's surrounded by difficult cards. Now, the Three of Swords is there, and the Three of Swords is often a challenging card. It can talk about, feelings of sadness and things that need to be healed. So it could be that karmic wheel, it's coming around again, and we are needing to go back and sort of revisit some pain that is haunting us from the past. And, there are two keys to recovering from sorrow, and that is time and forgiveness. So if you are feeling like things are coming back round for you in terms of things that happened, pains that happened, and sorrows that happened to you in the past, it really is asking you in November to forgive yourself and forgive others as well. Or both, forgive others for the hurts that they have done to you. But a lot of the time we blame ourselves for things that happen that aren't our fault at all. So we really need to forgive ourselves if you are carrying any pain about some things that you could have done better in the past. I think you really need to do that. And it's an important step to finding your happiness again to do that. So really, really make sure that you do release that pain. Now, you've got a lot of people around you in November. I see quite a lot of people there. So you've got the King of Swords as well. And the King of Swords is ordinarily, it is an air sign. So this is Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. And they're quite an intellectual person. They're really, they're quite brilliant. They're an excellent communicator. They're really great at sort of mediating any disputes that you might be having. They're quite level-headed, and they're very career, they're intellectual and career orientated, very logical. And if you've got any issues and you need to go to them with any advice, they have that advice that you can really fully rely on. If I don't see any cards talking about a relationship or anything like that, but if you are needing to ever get into a relationship with an air sign, or the King of Swords in particular, I always say it's not about the sign, it's about the character of the person the card is describing. So with air signs, they can be quite emotionally distant, particularly the King of Swords. So they're not able to connect on a heart-to-heart basis. Intellectually, they're there. And it's not to say that they're not committed to a relationship, but they're just going to operate in that relationship like you're a business partner. They're that kind of person. But what the King of Swords talks about is perhaps you might need a little bit of advice, and you might need to go to a King of Swords if you have one in your life, to get that advice. But also other people in your life in November might be needing some of your advice. And I'll tell you what, Leos are just some of the most wonderful people I have ever met. They are just so calming and soothing to the soul to be around, or certainly the Leos that I have met. And they're really intelligent as well. So somebody might be coming to you in November for a little bit of advice or assistance. Now, also what the King of Swords talks about is you must feel confident to speak your truth and know that other people are going to be to benefit from your insights as well. So you don't have to be rude or mean about it, but just be really honest about it. And you know, if there's a decision that needs to be made, you know, sometimes we can use our heart to make a decision or even our mind. But if any decisions are needing to be made in November, you really need to use both. Use your wisdom and your passion and your heart, and balance those out to find the best desire that you want. So it's not all about, sometimes you can just go, no, I'm going to go with my heart on this one, or no, I'm going to use my intellect on this one. You really have to balance out both of these things to get an answer that you want. Excuse me. And also, this can represent the government. So if you've got anything to do with government officials, or perhaps even academia, could even have something to do with the military. The King of Swords is quite a warrior king. These could be issues that are coming up for you in November. Now, the Seven of Pentacles. You are really assessing your money. I think I touched on that before. You know, the Seven of Pentacles is a card of hope and patience as well. And it's a card that sort of says your efforts are really going to be rewarded. And it's like planting seeds in a garden. And, you know, it's going to take time for things to bear fruit, but you've done that work, and it's really going to come out and grow. Things are going to grow and things are going to be great. I feel like some of you can be really fearful that your plans aren't going to work out, but don't worry. When the Seven of Pentacles comes out, everything's going to be great in time. So don't worry too much about that. Now, it might feel like things have come to a standstill for you, but this is only temporary. So, you know, your plans are going to begin to gain momentum again soon. Now, we have another individual, the King of Wands. Now, this is a fire sign, so a Sagittarian, an Aries, or a Leo, like you. And the King of Wands, normally I would read as Aries, but because this is a general reading, it's not even about the star sign. It's more about the character of the person. And this is someone that's really charismatic and charming. They're an inspirational speaker, and they're able to motivate people to do amazing things. They're most of the time a leader in their chosen field or even in the community. And they're quite a great father or parent. And, you know, they really love their family, but they do crave a little bit of attention. And things will go a little bit more smoothly if you do pay attention to them. So don't ever try to upstage them, because they'll leave you kind of standing there alone. But also, The message of the King of Wands is it's time to take charge. This card really wants you to realize that you've got these qualities within you. You've got incredible leadership skills, and there are many who's going to benefit from your vision and your ability to focus and get the job done effectively and efficiently. So, and also with a bit of flair as well. But I think Leos are generally like that. They do have that little bit of flair about them, and it's really time when you get the King of Wands in a reading, it's really time to focus on the issues that matter and just dismiss everything that are just distractions. And also another message of the King of Wands is talking about talented and friendly people who can show up and help you. So graciously accept their assistance in November. They're going to be happy to do it, and it's going to help you out a lot. And you have the Knight of Swords. So another air sign there. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Now, the Knight is really fast moving energy. All Knights talk about movement, as I mentioned with the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords is the lightning. Lightning fast energy, things moving very, very quickly, fast moving energy. Like, also, if your lives have been seeming like they've been moving really slowly or not even moving at all, when you get that Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, it's like stepping into a whirlwind. It really is lots of ideas, lots of thoughts, lots of action that is going to be required and of you. And also when the Knight of Swords comes in, there's going to be a lot of successful solutions that come through. And when I was talking about making decisions both using your intellect and your passion, the Knight of Swords does talk about making decisions based on your intellect. So there's a bit of a contradiction there. But really, I'm feeling that intuitively this is saying make sure you do balance out any decision you make intellectually as well. Use that intellect. Don't just go on your passion and on what your heart is telling you. Really take into consideration those intellectual decisions. Now, sometimes the Knight of Swords comes in and the movement is so swift. The energy and the things that are happening in your life are so swift. It can be difficult to think through the choices that you have in front of you before acting, but it really is important that you ponder all of the alternatives that you have and really consider what your desired outcome is before you go too far down the road and then realize, oh gosh, this probably isn't the direction I should have gone in. So really think things through clearly in November. Now, the final card we have is Dwelling in Truth. These are the Gateway Oracle cards. I absolutely love these cards. The imagery is so simple, yet when you look at them and meditate on the cards, intuitive messages just seem to come through, and well, they certainly do for me. So look at the card and see if there's something that is coming through for you and telling you something, because I just feel like they are so good for meditating with and just getting those messages from your angels. But the affirmation for this card is, I stand in the light of truth. So the soul loves the truth. Be honest with yourself and listen to your inner guidance. Follow it by speaking your truth. To thine own self be true. You radiate the energy of truth to others so that they can find their truth. The universe wants you to know there is a place inside you that always knows the truth. Take time to be still, to discover that genuine place of knowing within. Often, the hardest things about living your truth is discovering what it is, so it's important to slow down, be quiet, and listen to the whispers of your soul. If there's an area of your life in which you're not being authentic or where you're not living in integrity, this is the time to make some changes. And that's such a deep card, really look inside and ponder where is, and I do feel like this is kind of related to the Three of Swords. It's like this pain that you have from the past that you are still carrying, really go inside and find what it is that you're still carrying, and forgive and release as best you can in November. So I hope that resonated with you, beautiful Leos. Have a wonderful month. If you're into crystals, check out my website at kazana.com.au. I have beautiful, they're all one-off pieces only, handmade and hand designed in Australia by an Australian designer, and all of the meanings of the crystals are on that website as well. So have a wonderful month, beautiful Leos. Bye, love you.